session we are going to talk about how we can maintain data integrity by using transactions. So what is a transaction? A transaction, it contains multiple statements, multiple SQL statements which have to work as a single unit. Means it contains multiple SQL statements and it ensures that either all of those database operations should succeed or all of them should fail. This means that the job is never half done. Either all of it is done or nothing is done. Okay. So transaction, it will contain multiple SQL statements, and when we execute them, they have to work as a single unit. So that is atomicity. So to understand it more properly, we will start with the practical demonstration. So I'm making a table here in which I will add some columns, account number, and I'm making it as a primary key. Next is customer name, so VAC 20, and then we have balance, and I will take it integer. So this is my table structure, and then I will insert two records from here. Suppose the account number for first record is A1 and the customer name is, and suppose the balance is 100. So I will add one more record here now. Suppose the account number now is 2. This is Ajay Kumar and the balance here is also 100. So we have these two records in this table now. So we can see all the records from this table. So till now we only have two records in this table. What do we want to do? We wanted that from this account, I wanted to transfer suppose 10 rupees, okay, to this account. So what should happen? The balance means we have to execute now two statements. There will be two update statements, okay, because we are transferring the amount from this record to this record. So that means there will be two update statements. So in this case, what will happen? In this record, we have to decrement the amount by 10 rupees. And in this account, again, we have to execute one more update statement where we have to increase the amount by, we have to increase the balance by 10 rupees. So we have to execute these two statements, these two update statements simultaneously. So that is a complete one transaction. So when we are transferring something from one account to another account, so we have to update both the accounts together. So we'll see that how we can do it without transactions, what result we will get, and how we have to do it by using the transactions. So let's switch to Visual Studio now. So this is my web form. So I will first design this web form and I will go to the source code. So I will add one table here. So I need 3 cells here. The first cell I will write account number. Then I need to add a label here, and its ID I will keep it as LBL account number 1. And I will have the same label in the next cell also. Good. So I will add another row here in which I will display the customer name. So it will be now customer name, LBL customer 1. So I will add one more row after this. And then write here balance. So we've designed this label here now, this table here now. I also wanted to add here a button. So we change its caption from this to, so the ID of this will be BTN transfer. So I'm also adding my label to show the status of the transaction. Okay, it's good. So we see that this part is done now. So now we will go to the coding part. So first we need to add the namespaces system.data. Now in this example, I am going to store the connection string in this web.config file. So to store the connection string in the web.config file, we will go to this connection string which is in the configuration element, and we will add here, add name, give name to your connection string. So I want to give it name accounts con. Next is connection string which will contain again data source, which will have the data server name. Next is initial catalog, so it is practice. Integrated security is equal to true. So the server name is, I will copy the server name from here. So this is my server name. So I will put that name here. So it is used here. So in this example, I have stored the connection string in web.config file. Now to retrieve this connection string in this web form, I will have to add one more namespace here, system.configuration. I am going to add one method here, void get data, in which I will retrieve the records from the database. So for that I need first the connection string. So I'm declaring a variable here, connection string is equal to configuration manager dot connection string. The name of our connection string in this web.config file was, I will just copy this name from here, to string. I will make object of SQL connection here, in which I will pass this connection string. Next, I will use this command object, and we want to retrieve all the records from that accounts table. We will also pass the connection object here. Next, open the connection execute the query, but we have to store the records in the data reader. Now we fetch the records one by one from this read object which has stored all the records now. So we'll use a loop for that. While read is the method which we are using here. Now I will put some conditions here. If read 0 was the first column, you can also give the column name here. So to see the column name, again I will go to the database. So the column name here, it was account number, that we need to convert to a string. If the name is A1, okay, I wanted that in label account number dot text, I wanted to store here A1, LBN customer name, I wanted to store the value from this read object, so the column name was name. Again we need to convert it to string. Okay, sorry, this we have to use here dot text. Next I wanted to store the balance dot text is equal to read balance to string. Similarly we will do it for the next record also. Means for the account number, where the account number is A2, so it's stored here now A2, and it will be customer 2 and balance 2, and it has to be account 2. And I wanted to call this method on page load event, so we'll say here get data. But again I wanted to call this method only for the first time. So for that I will use if not is post back. Okay, which means that this method will be called only once. So we'll check our application first now, how we're getting the result till now. So we can see that when we execute this application, we're able to fetch the records from the database, and I'm displaying the records here. Okay. Now we wanted that when we click on transfer amount button, what should happen? I wanted to transfer 10 rupees from this account to this account. So what should happen? We are actually firing two update statements simultaneously. So if we go to our database, so means we wanted to write these statements. Update accounts set balance is equal to balance minus 100, where account number is A1. The second record, we wanted to increase it by 10. The account number is 2. Okay. So we wanted to issue these two update statements together now. So let's again go to the Visual Studio. So when I click on this button,